it's never yielded a negative return.
Yeah.
And I can prove that on a fund fact sheet. That's
Yeah.
the fund that I would put you in, something like that.
So it's gonna take a little bit longer.
Yes.
To accrue some value, but
yes.
it's guaranteed that you will.
Correct.
Yeah. We are back, ladies and gentlemen, with another edition of No Cuck. And today I have got a special guest, basically the Minister of Finance for South Africa.
No, bad.
But I've got a special guest here today for you guys, and he goes by the name of Joshua Finance Minister De Stadler.
No, please don't.
Joshua, how are you, my
Thank
boy?
you.
How are you?
No, I'm doing very well, thanks. And thanks so much for having me on the show. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I watched all the episodes so far, so I can finally watch myself.
You've been one of the biggest supporters, and
Yeah.
now you are here. Now you're here with us.
Yeah.
So
sorry,
welcome.
I took your seat for the day.
He's away, so he's not even. Normally he'd be like here.
I feel like I'm a bit of an imposter in this seat.
No, you look like you've been made for this. Bro. You made for this. You made for this.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. So again, a little bit of the serious side of life, and today we're doing finance with you, Joshi. So to get straight into it, basically let's sort of talk us through what you do for a living.
Okay, so I was told to keep this very simple and very basic as possible. I don't want to confuse anyone.
Yeah.
So I'm a financial planner or advisor. The terms are actually one and the same. Some people just prefer calling themselves a planner and others call themselves an advisor. But what I do for a living is personal finance. So I help individuals, families, even businesses give guidance because, essentially a lot of people that earn an income know more or less what they're doing with it. They just need that final touch to ensure that they are spending their money the best way they can.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what I do. It's very, very
How
simple.
long have you been doing this on?
So my dad's been
Pretty
doing,
much since you've been born.
Since I've been born,
Yeah.
So I've been a financial planner for 6 years. But like you said, I have been doing this my whole life because my dad's actually been in the industry for like 30.
Yeah.
So it's been quite a while. So
I wonder if your son one day, if you have a son, is gonna fall in the same mold and this starts becoming like a family like tradition. That could actually be wild.
It could actually be wild.
What did your dad do? Was he in finance?
He still is.
That's wild.
He's been running a practice for 30 years.
Yo, that's wild. So this is like it's in your guys' blood.
It really is, and it comes naturally to me.
Yeah, and I mean you've been pretty successful with it.
I wouldn't say it myself, but if you're saying it, thanks.
No, I mean I can see it. I can see it from from an outsider's perspective.
Awesome.
I can see that you are successful. I mean you've got obviously a wife. You've got your own place that you're staying in, and you continuously building building on that. So it has to be successful to some extent. You know what I mean? Yeah. And obviously private chats as well.
Of course,
yeah. So one of the reasons why we obviously wanted to get you on, and I know I've learned a lot from you.
Yes.
But I feel like a lot of people our age, particularly 20s, even up to 40s, can learn how to manage their finance better.
100%, yes.
Finance has changed from what it used to be.
Yeah.
Managing your finance, saving, etc., is very different to having a piggy bank in your house that you're popping in.
Mattress.
But exactly.
Things have
So
changed.
I wanted to kind of have an updated look on this. So
Yes.
you are pretty much a Google update for us today on finance.
I'm a little bit worried that people can just second check this on Google, so I'm going to have to be very accurate.
Listen, Google told me the other day when I sneezed once.
Yeah.
I asked Google what was happening. Google told me I have 2 to 3 weeks to live.
Okay, fair enough.
So-
So this is not a... Okay,
Please be
cool.
careful, guys. So before we kick off, guys,
Yes.
please like, share, subscribe once again. But back to you, Joshua. So again, one of the questions I actually wanted to start off with, or one of the subjects was, can one enjoy their life, and still be responsible with their money, i.e. sort of weekends away, that sort of thing? Can those things run simultaneously? And how do you sort of manage that?
So that's an excellent question, because especially when you're young, and or like, let's just say you've just come out of college and you're earning a limited salary, you kind of think to yourself, okay, but how do I enjoy my limited kind of economic situation and still enjoy life, but still keeping in mind that you have to save and all of those things? I definitely think that you can do both. But I do think that in order for you to do both, you need to be calculated. So the first thing that I would suggest, if you want to be able to do both, enjoy life and then still manage all of the other things that's based within personal finance, is it's a simple word, is budgeting.
Yeah.
And
being disciplined about it.
Disciplined, And it's super simple. So if I had to give you a sheet of paper now and just say like inflows and outflows, that's super simple. You know exactly what comes in and you know what goes out, more or less. But once you...
More or less.
You're more or less.
My trips down to the bottle store is...
But essentially, like, so if I can share like a personal thing that I do this a lot with my clients. I actually follow my own advice. So what I do is I actually have a portion of my budget that I call my disposable budget.
Yeah.
And it's a percentage of what I'm earning.
Yeah.
So if I'm earning like hypothetically 10,000 Rand and that budget is 10%, I try and be disciplined and not spend over 1,000 Rand, for example.
Yeah.
And then you within budget and you control, but you still then you can still go out with your friends. You can still, you can use that money and save it and go on a trip, a weekend away or whatever the case, but then you're not going over budget.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for me, that's super important, because the minute you go over budget, you start going into debt, and that's something that you'd want to avoid.
Yeah, yeah. So on that, saving, is that still a thing? And then obviously, like I said, piggy banks and under the mattress and that sort of vibe, it doesn't work in this day and age. You're not going to get much from that. But what do you feel is sort of the best ways of saving in this day and age?
So, that's a loaded question.
I know, which is why, so what do you do?
Okay, so this is my opinion. This is what I do. I just need to clarify that, because there's so many ways that you can do this. There's no one right answer, because I've been involved in all walks of life as far as finance is concerned, and people do different things in their work, and I can't say that it's wrong. But what I do is, I use my bank account, but I also use this very special vehicle called a tax-free savings account.
Okay.
Right? And I can go into the details about each one, maybe in a different episode, because I can unpack that.
Yeah.
But essentially, that is what I do. And the reason why I do that is because, for example, if you look at a tax-free savings account, your money grows...
so before you go into that, maybe give us a little bit of what is a tax-free savings account. I know it may seem like just a tax-free savings account. Okay. but a lot of people don't know about tax and how that sort of works. So take us through how you can have a savings account that doesn't get taxed by the government.
Okay, so let's look at the one of the banks. I'm just going to use can I say banks?
Yeah.
So if you look at a bank, like, I know all banks do it, but if you look at a bank like Capitec, for example, if you open up their app, and a lot of youngsters, the younger crowd will know exactly what I'm talking about. But if you open up the app, there's actually a tab where you can open up a tax-free savings portion. So it's a savings portion within your app, and it literally takes like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Then what you do is you can transfer an amount of money into that account. There's limits and maximums, etc. And then your money basically just gets kept in that space.
You earn interest on that.
And you earn interest on that amount of money, and it's tax-free.
So you just say you pop like $500 a month in there, you're just continuously earning interest on that.
Correct.
And that interest, is that on a monthly basis?
Yes.
Okay.
So what's great about that account is that the interest is compounded annually.
Vibes.
So you get a percentage every month. Now, what's so special about a tax-free savings? So this is something that you would want to pay attention to if you're a listener, is if you have money in any kind of investment, right, there's only a handful that this doesn't apply to, but most investments, including the money that you get back from your bank, so the interest that you accumulate on your bank account, that gets taxed within the bank. So you don't even see that tax is coming off.
Yeah.
It just happens.
That's why. Because sometimes I look at my funds in my account and I'm like, but
so
5 plus 2 plus 3 that does not make 15. So where you know what I mean? Yeah.
So the reason why I utilize this account to the maximum is because any growth that I get on that account is totally tax free.
Yeah.
It's such a good thing to have as a youngster, because first of all, you can access that money anytime. You shouldn't, but you can.
Yeah.
It's such a good thing, and I'm really going to try use like layman's terms. I'm not going to get too technical, but it's such a good vehicle to have that the government have actually said you're only allowed to put 36,000 in per year.
Oh wow.
Yes.
So they're like, whoa,
you can do this, but there's only so much that you can do per financial year.
Because otherwise, all the millionaires and billionaires
will just
pump
all of their money
their funds in there. And
so there's limits to it.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
It's
good if the government's limiting you and saying,
if the government's limiting you from putting money away, then you
no, that's wild. Okay. That's proper. Is this, so you're saying all banks do this, right? So
most do. I've investigated most banks and they all do it. But there's institutions that, most insurance companies do it as well. So you can shop around, but you need to be doing it somewhere.
Yeah.
And one question that I got asked during, it was like 2 weeks ago, is like, can you have multiple tax-free savings accounts?
Yeah.
Can I have one at like Capitec? Can I have one with FNB? Can I have one with here? You can have as many as you want, as long as you don't cross over the limits.
So you can put 36K in there, 36K in
no.
there.
So that you can't do that. It's only 36K for the year. So
in
you can
general.
have like, yes.
Okay.
So you can have like 3,000 in one bank and 3,000 in another, but you cannot put in more.
That total cannot ever go to more than 36,000. Can you be caught doing that? Because it's different banks.
Yes.
And I'm sure they have, like, they're not allowed to disclose information to one another. So how do they go about stopping that?
It's all linked to your ID number.
Okay.
So each individual person, each natural person is allowed to have their own tax-free savings account with their own limits.
Yeah.
So me as Joshua, I'm only allowed to have 36,000 Rand in per year.
Yeah.
And there's a lifetime limit as well.
Yeah.
There's a very slim chance of you ever reaching that lifetime limit.
Yeah.
But it's half a mil, and it actually got increased now to 550,000.
Jeez.
Yeah. So that's the lifetime limit. You cannot, and remember, and this is
a question on that. That's the amount of money that you can put in.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean, like, say I put in 550,000 Rand for
your lifetime
as a lump sum.
Yeah. No. You can't put it in as a lump sum. You need to do it by year. You can't just
so 36,000 a year.
Yes.
So I put 36,000 a year. I earn interest on that 36,000. Next year I can put another 36,000 and earn the same interest on that 36,000 Rand until I reach 550,000 Rand for the year for my lifetime. But that can continuously earn interest on that. So what is the percentage, if I'm asked? Is there?
So that's where you need to choose wisely about where you go. Because if I can use an example, right? There's different funds that you can go into, and this is where it starts getting a little bit more technical, right? But if you put your money into a very, I would say, like a passive fund, or for lack of a better term, a non-aggressive fund, you can get like a safe interest rate of, let's just call it between 7 and 10%.
Okay.
Right? Let's just say 7 for the episode. But you can look at funds that give you between like 10 and 15%. Okay. So it's more,
and by
more
passive versus
funds.
aggressive, what is the difference between those two?
So the difference is the funds that each of these institutions select within a specific basket. I don't want to go into too much detail. Okay. But that's
vibes. That's definitely going into that in the next one.
But it
definitely.
It also depends on like where you are in life, because if you are older, so if you're like nearing retirement, I wouldn't say go into like an aggressive fund.
Yeah.
Because with an aggressive fund, you there's ups and downs.
Can you lose money? That's what I wanted to ask
Correct.
now.
So that's the thing, yes. So
Okay.
if you go into an aggressive fund, there's a lot of turbulence that fund could experience. So let's just say you're nearing retirement and, or this is the year that you're going to retire.
Yeah.
Now that fund is not doing well for whatever reason, economics. There's a lot of things that can affect the fund performance.
Yeah.
And now you're retiring.
Yeah.
You'll probably have to delay that just because the fund is not doing well. So then I would rather recommend going to like a passive fund, like a money market fund, which is it's never yielded a negative return.
Yeah.
And I can prove that on a fund fact sheet. That's the fund that I would put you in, something like that.
So it's gonna take a little bit longer.
Yes.
To accrue some value, but
yes.
It's guaranteed that you will.
Correct.
Yeah.
So there's certain things that you can do to mitigate your risk. But that's the fun. So you need to have a look at where are you in life? How long do you have before you need this money? Everything has timelines to it. And then once you answer those questions, actually the product or whatever it is finds you.
Yeah. So 100%.
Yeah.
So a lot of youngsters these days, I say youngsters, we're still youngsters, but want to sort of invest in, they want to invest, they want to, play on the stock exchange, they want to do all that sort of thing. I wanted to check with you, investing versus sort of saving.
Okay.
Which one are you leaning towards? Or are you leaning towards maybe a little bit of both? Or, what's your sort of thoughts on that?
Right.
And specifically like online trading, etc.,
Okay.
etc. Even NFTs, bro. What the fuck? Actually, leave the NFT question.
Let's
leave that.
NFTs.
That is a whole different discussion that I want to do because there's a lot to learn.
Yeah, what was it? Non-fungible tokens.
Yeah,
NFTs.
something like that, yeah.
Boy. Okay, that's a separate topic. That's a big one.
Yeah, that's a big one. We'll do that as a sub vibe.
But to answer this question, so I would recommend, as far as savings and investing is concerned, a bit of both. I would start as a youngster. Like if you're just starting your career, I would recommend saving first. Get into the habit of saving. Because if you get into the habit of saving, investing in those kinds of things that are a bit riskier, even buying property, right? It's higher risk. And even if you buy property, most of the time it's bonded.
Yeah.
So you need to be very disciplined about how you manage your money. And saving is a good way of getting into that habit.
What sort of percentage of your monthly income should you save? Or does it differ, obviously, depending on how much you earn?
So it's definitely it's a percentage of how much you earn. Like if you just want to go like kind of general, how much should I be saving per month if, you don't have a budget worked out, you don't have any overheads or whatever the case would be, I would say you should be saving between 10 and 20% of your salary.
Yeah, that's
a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah. But
so after bills,
so
after this dividend orders come off, I look at that and I'm like, I'll save like 10 to 20% of that's left over. Never mind of like the full salary. I mean, because it's a serious thing these days. Like, not a lot of people can afford to sort of put that sort of money away. What do you say to people that are sort of living hand to mouth?
Fame, okay.
Or youngsters per se that are, so I'm studying and I'm working, night shift in the bar just to get some bills paid, whatever. What can I do in terms of investing versus saving? What can I do and what percentage do I put away of that?
Okay, that's a good one. That does come up quite a bit as well. So it all boils down to that thing I said earlier with regards to your budget.
Yeah.
Right? So it doesn't matter where you're working. If you're receiving an income, you should have a budget.
Yeah.
And I promise you, and this works 9 times out of 10 for me, if I had to take a look at your budget right now, I would be able to find savings in it.
Yeah.
So, for example, simple one. You earn 10,000 Rand a month and you go shop at Woolies.
Yeah.
Sorry, like, I don't want to offend anyone.
What the hell are you doing there? Bruv?
Yeah.
ShopRite is in your name.
But if you look at how much a basket of I've done this experiment
Yeah.
myself, but Woolies is more expensive. It's generally more expensive for a basket of goods.
But they've done these experiments. Sorry to interrupt.
They
They
have.
have done the experiments
It's
where
on
they
Google,
where
yeah.
they basically they go to Woolies and then they go to Checkers and Pick and
Yes.
Pay, and a lot of the stuff is the same sort of pricing.
Yes.
Yeah, so they have done that experiment. But I get what you're saying. In
Yeah.
general,
In general, yeah.
Woolies, bruv, you need to have money.
Yeah, so look at that, for example. So my first suggestion is be like, okay, you just told me you want to save money,
Yeah.
right? So what I'm going to ask of you is a little bit of a sacrifice. Instead of going to Woolies, try shopping at Food Lovers
Yeah,
or a place where a basket of goods is cheaper.
yeah,
That's one way. Maybe instead of eating out 3 days a week, maybe you can like cook more food at home and then maybe go out once a week or twice a week or whatever. Just reduce that
yeah.
and it doesn't have to kill you. I mean, just slightly reduce it. You know,
Yeah.
instead of going out 3 or 4 nights with the boys to have a beer or whatever, maybe
That's the problem.
maybe cut that down.
That is the problem. That right there. If my boy message, yo,
Yeah.
football is on or Ruggas is on or
Yeah.
whatever, let's go for a pizza. I'm like, I look at my account, I'm like, I'm on my way. I'm on my way.
You see-
And then,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
but that also, it comes down to discipline.
It
Like,
does.
how
yeah.
much can you spend every time you go out, etc., etc. So, so what I'm getting from this so
Yes.
far is that it's gonna take discipline.
Yes.
It's gonna take a budget that you need to do,
Yeah.
and from there you can work on whether you want to save and or invest,
Yes.
etc., etc.
Yes.
So far, that's
Yes.
the base that I'm getting.
So that's kind of like the groundwork of it is just kind of creating that disposable income where you can.
Yeah.
But effectively that's where you start.
So the other thing is, again, I'll revert back to earlier, online trading. What is your opinion on that?
So again, this is my
Oaks are putting money
Yeah.
into that, and
So-
it's being pushed on all social media platforms. I won't mention names, but
Fair.
there's some alphabets out there that would love me to put some money in, like, and start trading.
Yeah.
But what do you say to that?
So look, in my experience thus far, online trading in general it's quite risky.
Yeah,
And the reason why I say it's risky is because often people get involved and they don't 100% know what they're doing and they don't know what their risks are. But with that being said, I do know a handful of guys that do it on it. They day trade.
yeah,
They do the online thing.
yeah,
And they are actually making a living from it. But if I look at how much time they have put into doing that,
yeah,
they've pretty much got a degree in it.
yeah.
Because they've been studying this thing for 4 to 5
Yeah.
years.
They know the trends.
they
They
know
know,
the trends.
what's going on.
It's,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
this one guy that I know has unfortunately I can't say his name here, but
No vibes.
he created his own algorithm.
Yeah.
Right, so
Damn.
he's sharp. He's doing things. I look at some of the stuff and I'm like, I don't understand what you're doing, but it's working for you.
Yeah.
So my opinion on that is, if you want to get involved in something like that, you have to put the time in.
Yeah.
But it can
What's
work.
the sort of hours that he's put in? Do you have
So 4 years.
Damn.
So 4 years of studying while he was working.
yeah.
And then,
Was he studying this?
Yes.
In
So
particular?
he bought like actual books on various books, and he studied it every
Vibes.
night for like 4 years,
Damn.
for around 4 years. And then before he even started, he had like his own demo account. And he
Yeah.
traded
So
on
I've
that
been
for-
told, yeah.
for like
do
half
that
a year.
first, yeah.
And then he started, and he stuck to his strategy as well.
Yeah.
That's very important.
Yeah.
And you need to have the right personality for it as well. You need to be able to hold your nerve,
Yeah.
because
It's the race, bro.
it's stressful. It is super stressful.
Yeah.
And if you can't hold your nerve,
Yeah.
and you see red,
It's
and
just dropping.
then it's dropping.
Yeah.
You need to be able to make a very cold, calculated decision
Yeah.
based on the strategy that you've been developing for however long.
But again, it comes down to knowledge. So you
Correct.
know what that trend is. You know that it might be dropping now, but at any point in time,
Yeah.
because of previous trends,
Yes.
that could shoot. And if you pull your bucks now, you could miss out on that
Correct.
sort of an upturn. So yeah, I also know somebody that taught a little bit of it to me.
Yeah.
You know the person, but I won't. Mention,
no names. Yeah.
I won't mention names because. But what I wanted to actually ask was, at what point, like in his sort of tenure doing this, did he start like making bucks, or start like being able to live off that?
Few months.
Yeah. Oh, damn.
But remember that.
But he studied for it.
He studied for it.
Yeah.
He earned it, and he had a strategy in place that because he'd been practicing with it.
Yeah.
He knew that if he just waits out a specific time frame and he sticks to the strategy, it can't fail.
Yeah.
That's the kind of knowledge that you need to have before going.
Tell me, the demo account, right?
Yes.
Are you trading based on real sort of movements?
Yes.
Oh, vibes.
So most demo accounts allow you to trade like actual stocks with fictitious money.
Yeah.
So it's literally like they're giving you play money.
Yeah.
Monopoly money. So just to like mess around with, but yeah.
So that leads me to the next thing. So here's where I wanted to get to.
Yes.
Is that you obviously deal with personal finance.
Yes.
And part of that is taking people's money and investing it into profitable, into profitable investments. Funds. Where's the best place to invest money? What's the best place to invest money to? Without giving away secrets that
So look, what I am going to say is, because I can't actually give away actual fund names, unfortunately. That's a very private discussion as well. But what I can say is, and I mentioned it earlier, is you have to look at where you are in life first before you even get to that. So actually quite an advanced conversation.
I was hoping to get that juice out of here. I was hoping to get that juice.
Maybe let's go offline and then we can chat about it after.
Guys, Joshua is going to be starting his new channel.
Yeah.
So then you get a bit more juice.
This is a nice intro.
Right, you're going to get people flocking to you now. Like, Josh, my personal finances are in a mess. Help me. Put me into some juicy investments. Some spicy.
Yes, but I really feel like I'm going to disappoint people with the way you're talking me up here. But to answer your question in a nutshell, like you need to look at where you are in life.
Yeah.
And the solution really finds you. So I'll ask you like a whole bunch of questions. I'll find out like your tolerance for risk. I'll find out like, what do you want to use this money for?
I've got zero tolerance for risk. Zero.
Well, there we go.
I don't want to lose money ever. I'm down to make money, but losing.
But then what I would say is like, okay, but if we look at like aggressive funds, really aggressive funds, and we look at it over the long term. So when I say long term, I mean like 15 plus years.
Yeah.
Right? If you look at what that looks like after 15, 20 years versus your passive, your safe fund, you'll be shocked at how much you could be missing out on.
Yeah.
And when I say could be, the probability is very high that you'd be missing out on quite a large percentage of growth.
Yeah.
And remember, when you're young, can I give you an example of what I'm talking about?
Yeah, of course.
Right? So
examples are perfect.
So if you look at an event like COVID, right? So a lot of people that might be watching, even if you look at graphs of single stocks of various companies, a lot of those companies took a massive hit during COVID because nothing was happening. Everything was standing still, right? Now, if you had invested money in equities, which is considered a more aggressive kind of investment, so you've been investing money in businesses, you probably would have made a loss during COVID if you had sold the stock, in the height of the pandemic when everyone was shutting down, no one was moving, etc. But if you held on to that money post-COVID, when everything started recovering, your growth would have been exponential.
Yeah.
And that you can check. I mean, you can check that right now.
It's common knowledge. Yeah.
Click open another tab, Google some of these companies.
Yeah.
You'll notice that if their growth
is
generally their growth is generally much higher than these passive funds that are very stable, and they will do the job of what you need, but you won't get that exponential growth. So you're missing.
Yeah.
So it's all about balance.
Yeah.
You must have heard the term diversification.
Yes, of course.
Got to have that.
Yeah,
in your finances.
100%. Yeah, man. One of the, and I know throughout this, we've actually developed like an understanding of what we need to do. But one of the questions I had for you is like, what are the best sort of practices and rules to stick by for financial success? And that's kind of,
we've been covering that.
It's crazy how like how
we
it's done it all by itself. Yeah. So again, just to run through, what do you feel are the best practices or rules to stick by for financial success, and short term, long term? Just being comfortable.
So long and short of it is to, and I'm going to be it's actually it's simple. Although you can go into detail with more specific points, but know your budget, control it. That's the first key. Then the second thing is don't let your money be lazy. Make it work for you. I think it was Warren Buffett that said that if your money isn't growing in your sleep, I'm paraphrasing here, it might not even be him, but if you're not making money in your sleep, you're going to work for the rest of your life. So remember, I just dialing back in the conversation, I said that you need to be disciplined and you need to sacrifice certain things, etc. But there's a light at the end of this tunnel, and that's financial freedom. That's actually where you want to be. So, but I would say know your budget, control it. Don't let your money be lazy, and just make sure that you've mitigated your risk within your portfolio.
100%.
So those are my 3 takeaways from that question.
So I'd like to, that's awesome, guys. Please give Joshy some love, give Joshy some support here, like, subscribe, share.
Likes on this video.
No, actually, you know what? We're busy trying to make millionaires here, so it's vibes, bro. But give him some love, please. Like, share, subscribe, and then last sort of thing from my side. I know over time we will sort of dig a little bit deeper into this sort of thing, but tax, bro. Just
that's
tax.
A juicy question.
Tax is unavoidable, and again, I would like to go into tax on a much deeper scale. But I thought I should just touch on it for this episode as a final thing. So tax is unavoidable. But what are some of the ways in which you can sort of make it work for you?
Okay. So to answer your question, I just need to create some kind of separation here with regards to tax, because you are taxed differently, whether you're an individual, whether you're a company, whether you're a commission earner, freelancer. The tax structure is different across the board, right? So, but this
so you actually, as an individual, you need to go and find out what the tax structure for you as a person is.
That's very, it's that, you know what, if there's one takeaway from this is find what entity you are. Like if you're an employee and you're getting paid by a company, you're an employee, you get taxed in a specific way. If you are a commission earner or a freelancer or a business owner, find out exactly how, and it's all free information available. You can check this on the.
So I know, website. As a former estate agent, I was being taxed 25% without a tax directive. With a tax directive, it was like 18% or something like that, which is very different to what I'm being taxed now. But so hell of important to figure that out first.
But let's I think for this segment, let's just look at an individual as an employee. So you're taxed according to a tax table, which you can also check online. And was the question on how to
what are some of the ways in which it can make for you just simple little changes in your life that you can do to make it work for you? We will go deeper into this.
Because this is a big segment.
This is a big segment.
It's like a whole hour.
But I think we could talk a couple of days on this. But just sort of simple things that you can do for now before we go deeper into it.
Okay, so the simple things that you can do from an individual point of view as an employee is you can, and people hate this one, but is to look into getting a retirement annuity. That's probably going to be your biggest deduction if I just look at percentage back. But then the other thing is,
what is a retirement annuity? Sorry.
Okay, so I'm going to try and explain
just
this
in layman's terms.
So basically, what a retirement annuity is a fund that you invest in on a monthly or annual basis, or whatever the case may be. that when you reach a specific age, you can turn it into an income.
Vibes.
So that's what a retirement annuity is.
Is there a particular age?
So the earliest that you can retire within a retirement annuity is 55.
55.
Yeah, that's considered early retirement in South Africa.
Vibes. Okay, cool. Yeah. So you were still going on in starting a retirement annuity.
The other way you can save on a portion of your tax as well is to make sure that you have medical aid in your own capacity. That's another way that you can claim some of your money back from SARS.
Okay.
So a lot of companies though they kind of give you that as a fringe benefit.
Yeah.
So they pay for it before you even receive your salary. It depends on how all companies are structured differently. But if you are contributing for that, you just got to make sure that you get all your certificates together when the time comes, and you will get a percentage of your money back.
Yeah.
So those are the two biggest ways you can get money back. As there are other ways as well. Like people don't know this, but out-of-pocket medical expenses. That's if anything happens and you have to pay out of pocket for a specific event, that's like hospital related, you can claim back on that as well.
Wow.
I don't want people to go and get hurt now in the sense of getting their money back, but it is a way that I feel people should know. If it happens, it's not all on you,
bro. All right, let's end it there because I could really, this is getting juicy now, and I could be here for another hour talking about it. But I definitely feel we can go a little bit more in depth, and I'm sure people out there that are listening to this is going, okay, so I can claim this, I can claim that, I can claim this. Brother, you will be back, and I think what we need to do is like go through each section in depth, and you can also guide me on that.
Perfect.
And you know what we need to know. So yeah, guys, that was finance with Joshy. This will most likely go out in like a 2-part special. But guys, again, thank you very much for joining us here on DTK. Like, share, subscribe, give Josh some love, and please join us. We will let you guys know when the next one with this man is, so we can make you all billionaires. Lekker boys. Vandaag het ons getackle. Take it easy, and if it's easy, take it home. Fatal.